The Family Man. In this book talk series, I am reviewing 41 Shades of Men by Princella Clark, and I'm only highlighting my top 5 favorites from the book. If you are interested in reading this book, click the link in my storefront and let's get it. The Family Man. The strength of a man is in his character. A strong man is a great man of wisdom who understands his top priority is to his family. Ellen J. Barrier. The idea of family is cultivated by society. Women are sold on the idea that she needs family, and in order for her to have a family, she needs a man. This is far from accurate. Women have always had family, as children are almost always more connected with the maternal side of the family. Men, however, do not have connection to family unless he creates a family of his own. The male's ultimate biological drive is to move around and to try to find bodies to shoot his DNA into. This is not the female nature. The female nature is to nurture life all around her: plant life, social life, animal life, creative life, business life, etc. The nurturing of life is not limited to child rearing. Therefore, she is more stable, stationary, and purposeful. The male, by biology, is likely to leave his childhood family and search for his own family. Again, this is not the case with women. Even when the male does create a family, he is faced with the ever-daunting task of sticking around and being responsible for his creation. This is not a task men actually want. They don't want it because biological nature encourages them to seek high numbers, procreate, and leave. Before and during World War II, society branded manhood as aggressive, independent, stoic, and competitive. This was a brand rooted in the nature of males, which did not include being a humanistic, compatible partner for women. Stoicism, in and of itself, is the act of enduring pain and hardship without expressing one's feelings about it or complaining. According to psychiatrist Sebastian Kramer, males are attempting something extra all throughout life. Unlike girls, who have better literary skills and more explicit about their feelings, boys tend to clam up when their emotions are high, feel uncomfortable, and not know how they feel. In addition to this impediment, the male has to deal with high levels of testosterone and a pervasive sex drive, which makes it difficult for him to focus, stay still, and controlled. The responsibility of carrying a family on a male's back is too much pressure due to the biologically wired in deficits. By nature, males are less capable than women in most areas of life. In the wild, most males fail at surviving. They fail at passing their genes along. They fail without female access. This male reality explains why most religious teachings focus heavily on women staying put and lowering themselves to be in relationships with males. Girls are conditioned to believe virginity is a prize. Nature does not support virginity. However, males place a heavy premium on it. Why? Males need to chemically bind a woman to them, which makes her less likely to leave him. Listen to the male podcasters and hear how much emphasis they place on pair bonding and virginity. The more partners she has, the less likely he can chemically manipulate her. If he can chemically manipulate her, she is more easily conditioned to sacrifice her peace, ambitions, personal desires, mind, physical and emotional self to keep the family together. She will remain through all of his transgressions. This is done through chemical warfare, subconscious programming through music and philosophy. Virginity allows him to permanently mark his territory. It is innately understood by males they cannot stay put or be responsible without external force. Women have been led to believe her job is to keep a man, when in reality, it is the male's job to keep a woman. However, males have a difficult time doing this because of their nature. Therefore, they need to condition women to tolerate adultery, domestic stress, financial insecurity, etc., for the sake of the male who can't stay put or keep a woman. If this works, a male always has a place which to return. This dramatically increases his survival rate and provides him the reward of passing his gene around over and over and over again. It's a win-win situation for him. This would not be the case in a fully natural environment. He would perish and no one would save him. Men innately know this, as it is the male's brain wiring. Women don't know this. The male is a dependent in this world left to figure life out on his own. So, unless he creates a family of his own, he is without one for most, if not all of his life. Family is an insurance policy for males. Therefore, it is his intent to protect himself from loneliness and lack of health care. This is proven through this episode on my show, the High Power Podcast. Skip to the 1 hour, 5 minute timestamp and hear it for yourself. On this episode, Philip Scott, another YouTuber, told his male audience that men are going into the nursing homes as early as 40 years old, and they need to get a woman and family so they will have someone to take care of them when they get sick and old. How to identify if you are a potential insurance policy for a male. All right, that was number 5 of my top 5 in the 41 Shades of Men by Princella Clark. Follow for more. The Stepmother Man. This is a book talk series, and we are reading 41 Shades of Men by Princella Clark. And today we're talking about number 4, The Stepmother Man. The link to the book is in my bio. Family isn't defined only by last names or by blood. It's defined by commitment and by love. Dave Willis. Being a parent is hard. I know because I am one. Many of you are also parents. With motherhood comes a load of responsibilities that women are most effective at handling. Why? It is because women are naturally more capable of handling more tasks, have more effective communication, nurturing, and rearing abilities. This is confirmed by multiple studies on women's effectiveness in the workplace. Research shows males and females accomplish about 66% of their work tasks. However, women are given 10% more labor to do than males. This indicates women work harder and more efficiently. Research also shows that married working women still do the majority of the household duties. Males are not so capable of doing the same and are easily burdened with the added responsibility of another person on top of themselves. Men typically do not want the responsibility that comes with caring for others. They are selfish by nature and biologically ill-equipped for large amounts of responsibilities with many moving parts. As a result, males who have been left with the responsibility of taking care of their kids will most likely seek out women to greatly assist them or throw off the whole responsibility onto them. Most often, the male's mother is seeing after his children. If not, he has found a woman to do so. Let's take the story of Iman Moss, who was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the unaliving of his daughter, Imani Moss. Iman was the sole custodial parent to Imani. Imani's mother was a drug addict, which explains why Iman has sole custody. Imani met Tiffany Moss, her father's soon-to-be wife, at a Christian church in 2007 and supposedly got along with her. Iman began dating Tiffany and married her shortly after. He began leaving Imani with Tiffany, who began abusing her at the age of 6. After extensive abuse, Imani, 10, suffered a fatality at the hands of Tiffany. Her father allowed the physical abuse and starvation to take place because of his codependency and lack of desire to be a full-time father. Iman married Tiffany for the sole purpose of making her Tiffany's stepmother. In this case, the mother unalived the child, but in other cases, the stepmother is unalived mentally, emotionally, and spiritually by the burden of children not belonging to her. Below is an anonymous post made by a stepmother. All right, so that was number 4, the stepmother man. Follow me for more. The STD man. Welcome back to my book talk series. We are reading 41 Shades of Men by Princella Clark. And if you want to read this book for yourself, click the link in my bio. To reverse the STD epidemic, we should all learn to talk more openly about STDs with our partners, parents, and providers. Dr. Gail Boland, director of CDC's Division of STD Prevention. Schmex has been around for a long time, a very long time, might I add. Schmex is a natural part of life, and no one should feel shame for something that is part of their biological makeup. For ages and centuries, the most risky part of Schmex was an unwanted pregnancy that would leave one with 18 years of responsibility he or she didn't want. However, as time has progressed, Schmex has become a lot more risky due to the increase of sexually transmitted infections. There are infections that can be cured with antibiotics because they are bacterial infections. And then you have those which are viral infections and remain with you for life. Therefore, in this day and age, you have to be extra cautious and aware. Well, this poses a major challenge. Why? Because it requires humans to be full-time conscious beings. Why is that a problem? It's a problem because humans are not conscious beings. They are subconscious beings. Subconscious behaviors account for 90% of human actions. To operate on more than 10% of our body faculties, it requires us to be consistently, consciously aware and heavily self-controlled. This presents a heavy challenge because humans are subconsciously motivated creatures. In addition to subconscious motivations, men are driven very strongly by schmex, power, and ego fulfillment. He will risk everything there is to risk for the sole purpose of obtaining schmex, power, and ego fulfillment. So who is the STD man? This is the man who has been recklessly having schmex, not caring about his own health, and eventually got burned with an incurable viral-based STI. As a result of this diagnosis, out of revenge and self-loathing, he seeks to infect as many women as he possibly can. I have said on several occasions, penis is a weapon. It is a weapon used to impregnate women in order to slow her down with children. If he is jealous of her, he will use it to infect her with diseases and confuse her emotionally in order to control or gain control. Rarely is schmex ever used by a male to truly express love and connection with a woman. That was number 3 of my top 5 from the 41 Shades of Men by Princella Clark. Follow for more. I'm bored, wife no fun. Welcome back to my book talk series, and we are reading 41 Shades of Men by Princella Clark. Let's go. You can find the link to this book in my bio. Familiarity breeds contempt, African proverb. They say women are from Venus and men are from Mars. There may be a lot of truth to that, given the fact Mars was once a thriving planet of resources like Earth and is now completely uninhabitable. Leave a male in your home for a week or two alone, and you may come back to an uninhabitable home. Also, males have no comprehension of higher love frequencies. On top of that, masculine energy is a moving energy that needs to keep going. Because of that, males can easily bore. They can easily bore of routine and lack of activity. When the wife is not adventurous, she can become complacent and lack life force energy that inspires the male to move. When this happens, males will up and seek a thrill. Typically, that thrill will be with another woman. There is nothing more exciting to a male than engaging in behavior that is taboo or secretive. This brings life back into his being. When a male is stagnant and not moving, he feels like the end is near or his mortality is catching up to him. So, it is necessary that he find something that reignites the flame within him. This is where you may be used as that flame. Schmex is fun to men. It is not something they use to love a woman in the overwhelming majority of cases. Schmex is fun because it triggers the reward system in their brains when they chase or play the game to get it. There is also nothing more fun than being with a new person who takes an interest in who you are, your hobbies, and interests. The wife has typically grown too familiar, became bored, disinterested, and too busy to take an interest in her husband the way she did at the beginning. Males are codependent by nature and need constant attention and reassurance. They lack the ability to provide this for themselves. Therefore, once you slack on this, he will desperately seek outside of himself to get this attention and reassurance. This guy could tell you he's married, or he could lie to you. You won't know unless you pay attention to how he moves. Most males will not be monogamous. If he has good looks, money, and a decent personality, there's a strong chance you are not the only one. If the majority of the time you two are having fun and there's not much weight placed on you, then chances are you are someone he is having fun with but is not planning on uprooting his home life for. It is not impossible you are the only one, but it is highly unlikely. Here's a confession I found on Reddit. All right, that was number 2, the I'm bored of his wife man. I totally screwed up the subtitle for that chapter. But anyway, follow for more. The Hospice Care Man. Welcome back to my book talk series, and we are reading 41 Shades of Men by Princella Clark. Click the link in my bio to read this book. Let's go. The Hospice Care Man. Hospice means end of life care. The admission ticket is a diagnosis from a doctor that you have 6 months or less to live. Eleanor Clift. An old man could come to you and say, I am your father. I am sorry I didn't spend time with you, and now I want to build a relationship with you. If this happens, there is a strong chance he is sick, screwed up plenty of relationships, and now needs someone to assist him with his life. His life is on the decline, and he will turn to children he abandoned or a new woman. There was a nurse on TikTok who spoke about men going into the stroke ward in their early 40s. She spoke about how many of them were good looking and had good jobs. She further went to say that she often asked them, "Where is your wife?" She stated the reply was most often, "I've been a player and I never wanted to be locked down." She goes on to advise black men to wise up and marry a woman so she can take care of him. This is a revealing statement as well as scenario. The nurse promoted the message as if women need to dig into the worst places to find a male to take care of while basing her decision on his job and looks. This is not the 1930s. Women are not in need of basic necessities that only the law at one point prevented women from providing for themselves. The male in this scenario admitted never seeing the need for a wife to take care of him. In this statement, he reveals the only purpose a man has for a woman is for him to suck the life out of her and use her to fulfill a need he cannot fulfill on his own. The male's expiration date would be a lot sooner if it weren't for women extending their lives with her help. In 2009, ABC News made a report detailing men's risk of stroke rising dramatically in mid-40s. This is interesting because the nurse made her alarming TikTok video in the latter part of 2022. This affirms what ABC News reported. In the article, according to Dr. Michael Palm, assistant professor of neuroscience and experimental therapeutics and internal medicine at the Texas A&M Health Science Center College of Medicine, the risk factors are most of the ones we start thinking about in older people. Mostly cholesterol, but also smoking, high blood pressure, and diabetes. It is also noted that the odds of stroke increase when men reach their mid-40s, and silent strokes are most common in this group of men. Dr. Roger Bonomo, director of stroke care at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City, stated, "This is identifying a trend toward risk factors becoming more like older people in men in their 40s." All right, so that wraps up my top 5 of Priscilla Clark's 41 Shades of Men. I'm so glad that you hung around. Thank you for following along. Let me know if there are other books that you would like for me to review, specifically books geared towards women and girls. Thanks for following.